konnichiwa, and irashai. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Miyoko Sakatani, and I am a second generation Japanese American or Nisei, and I'm a straight baby boomer. So thanks for joining us for Culturally Distressed. And this is a podcast for anyone who's culturally curious or culturally confused, in their life or their love or anything in between. And I'm so happy and proud and for to be sitting here with our fabulous co-host, Loic.
Oh, thank you, Miyoko. My pleasure to be here. My name is Loic Pichot. I'm Miyoko's co-host, and I'm a French American gay millennial. So yeah, that also makes me an expert on this question of, culturally distress.
Aha. So how are you? How was your week?
Uh,
Comment ça va?
Comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci. My week is good. Oh, since the last time we talked, I went to an American football game. College, yes, so American college football game. And I did my first tailgating before the game.
Oh.
Yeah, felt very American. Yeah, just being out there, which was fun.
Did you eat
And
hot
then
dogs? Did
what's
you
that?
eat
Sorry.
hot dogs? Hot dogs?
Burgers. We
Oh,
did
very
burgers, and we also played some drinking games. Even though you didn't had to drink, but we did like I think it was kind of like a variation of the beer pong kind of thing. Did you used to play those games, Miyoko, when you were in college, or
not really.
not really? Yeah.
I mean, not the what kind of drinking games? Like what?
It's basically you put cup on the table and you have to go on the other side and you have to throw a ping pong
Oh,
ball
yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah.
cup.
Yeah.
So you're familiar.
I think that's fairly new. I don't think it's been.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know.
I have to do some research and see in what year and what frat house beer pong was born. But I must say, like, it was my second football game, and I understand the rules better now, so it's actually enjoyable. But I just have to do a quick segment on this because the true heroes of American football to me are the cheerleaders. I'm obsessed. I think they really run the show. And it was also very funny to see the difference between the two teams because, like, one team was UCLA. And I think because it's LA based, they're all like professional high level dancers. So, like, when their team wins, they will go across the stadium doing like backflip and everything,
Yeah.
which was super impressive. And you're like, oh, those girls, like, one of them is going to be a professional dancer. This one's going to be in a girl band. You can see all of it. And then when the other team was winning, it was Penn State. You can see that they have a very different approach to cheerleading, and I love that so much. It was so much fun. But like they will do like the mascot will go on the field and like they would do kind of like a train situation with the
Oh,
thing. And they feel more relatable because you're like, oh, okay, this one is, Jessica and she's going to be an accountant. And that one is Rebecca, she's going to be a nurse. You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
they seem like they had fun and it was enjoyable to watch. So yeah, it felt very interesting to be in those kind of setting because obviously I didn't watch American football when I grew up. France is very much like a soccer country. So yeah, so that was what's new with me. What about you? What's new since the last time we talked?
I don't understand why soccer doesn't have cheerleaders, but yes. So I am a cheerleader from high school. So
What,
yay!
you were a cheerleader?
I was a cheerleader in high school, and guess what? I can
Yeah.
still do the splits.
Ooh, what, you can still do the splits?
Still do the splits. Yes.
Oh wow, I'm very impressed right now.
My regular stretches is doing the splits because
Oh wow.
once you stop doing those kinds of things, your muscles get tight, and
Yeah,
you probably can't do it anymore. So I thought
I
I maybe, and I might fit in good with my burlesque routine.
that's oh my God, you're gonna do like a split on stage? I'm obsessed.
The only problem is, I may not be able to get back up, but hey. Anyway,
It would be.
I had a busy week as usual. I'm writing and rewriting and rewriting, and you know how that is. So I'm doing a one-woman show in January, and
Yes.
I've got about 150 minutes of material, which I've got to edit down to 50 minutes.
Oh, 50 minutes alone on stage is no small feat. So, do you want to share a bit more about the story, or do you want to keep it under wrap for now?
We'll save that for the next time.
Okay,
Uh,
sounds
but
good.
what I wanted to share was a very important day when Richard and I went to go visit a very dear friend. She's
Hmm.
a nurse colleague who's also retired, and
Okay.
she has dementia, advanced
Oh,
dementia,
wow.
and
Okay.
she's gotten to the point now where she doesn't speak. But this is
Mm.
the thing: the light and the spirit never dies, because
Mm.
even when we're with her and she's not speaking, we still feel her exactly the way she was. And she was like one of the best nurses. We all worked together in intensive care and emergency room. And
Hmm.
she was one of the most compassionate and caring nurses that we've ever worked with. But
Wow.
she was tough love. She gave the patients a piece of her mind.
Which
I,
sometimes you need to hear. Yeah.
yeah, she was tough with them, but they all loved her. They all loved her very much, and
Uh,
she was hilarious. When the emergency room doctor says, "Okay, room 2, we have to do a pelvic exam," and she goes, "Oh no, not a foo-foo! I don't want to. No more foo-foo tonight, please." She was so funny.
She sounds like a riot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Oh,
sorry she's going through,
yeah.
you
So I
know.
wanted to mention that this Saturday, San Francisco Alzheimer's Walk is something
Okay.
that we participate in every year, because
Wow.
my mother also had Alzheimer's before she passed away.
Oh, okay.
So it's something that's it's really fun too to be on the wharf, to be along the bay and
Yeah.
walk.
Yeah.
They raise a lots of money. So
That's
anyway,
amazing. Yeah, I was going back on because I knew you were a nurse. I didn't know you were specifically in the ER like environment. I imagine you must like it's such like a high pressure situation. I assume you must really create some like amazing relationship and friendship with your coworker, right? Because I feel like sometimes when you go through this kind of like tough experience, it really strengthens the relationship of the people you go through that with.
yeah. Well, that's how I met Richard.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah, you have a camaraderie because you can relate to one another.
yeah.
But I'll tell you something, when the COVID broke out, we were so happy we were retired. Although
I bet.
we were
Yeah,
tempted to go in and help, but
yeah,
we just thought, no, it's probably better not to. Anyway,
yeah.
let's move on, because the topic for today, speaking of foo-foo, it's,
So okay, no, wait. So, fufu.
well,
I want
it
to
could
make
be
sure we're talking about because I've never heard that word before, but we're talking about
Halloween.
private for a woman.
Yeah, I know, but it could be a costume. But yeah, we're talking about Halloween because it's that time of the year, October.
What? Fufu can be a costume? Sorry, you got me confused here. What are we talking about?
Well, you
Like a
could
fufu costume?
fufu costume. Yes, you never know. You have to be you have to be imaginative and creative.
Okay,
Anyway,
that's
so
gonna be
let's
my
hear. I
costume
want
maybe.
to hear your stories about Halloween and what it was like as a
Yeah.
child and what it was like in France.
So to be honest, when I was a kid, Halloween wasn't really like big yet. Um,
Oh,
it really became big with my nephew and nieces. Yeah, my nephews and nieces they will celebrate Halloween. But when I was a kid, yeah, we didn't really like dress up for Halloween or do anything scary. I remember no, maybe one time when I was in high school with my sisters, and I have a little sister, so I think for her we started like We did like a pumpkin carving session, so it was kind of fun. But despite not celebrating Halloween, the place in France where I grew up, because it's like the deep, deep countryside, we have like so many, scary stories, paranormal things. Yeah, even though there's no like Halloween celebration, it does feel like this kind of like folklore is very, very present. So, what about you? Did you celebrate Halloween as a kid?
Oh yeah, went trick or treating and all that. And
Oh, that's
but you know,
nice.
I have to tell you something. Halloween is my least favorite holiday of the
Oh,
year.
why?
Well, because there's lots of reasons why, but my father, when we were children, young children, he loved horror movies, and so,
Hmm.
and so he always took us to horror movies at the drive-in. Drive-in
Oh,
movies.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he always took. So that was my exposure as a young child,
Oh,
and then I don't know when it happened, and I don't know where it happened, but I was young. Something scared me
okay.
very, very, very deeply. It was somebody wearing a mask,
Yeah,
and it scared me, and it never left me. To this day, I could say honestly, when somebody's wearing, and not children, I mean like a taller person
yeah.
wearing some kind of scary mask, it still brings up that childhood fear,
Oh, wow.
and
So,
that's why it's not my favorite holiday.
so I'll never be able to take you to a haunted house. You know, the Halloween haunted house. Oh, that's too bad.
That's not my favorite thing to do. And you know,
And do you remember like the movies you were watching? Was it like the horror classics like Chainsaw Massacre?
was a
Like,
little after my that was after my time. That
oh,
came
okay, okay,
came later, um, but anyway, when I was a young child, I enjoyed dressing up. I enjoyed trick or treating. It
yeah,
was it was fun, and you could get a candy. Of course, nobody understood what we were doing and why we were doing it.
yeah.
Nobody really understands the real meaning of Halloween.
Of course, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
just like they don't understand a lot of the real meanings of a lot of the holidays. Japan does have this whole folklore of ghost stories.
Okay,
So that's very big. Ghost stories, spirits, but it's interesting. The Koreans also, Chinese, I think they all have sort of ghost spirit stories,
yeah.
uh, ancient stories. But it's interesting because most of these ghost stories or spirit stories always have some kind of moral message,
Oh,
some kind of
interesting.
yeah, some kind of societal message, like this will happen to
Okay.
you if you do this, or you get karma or whatever.
Oh,
It,
interesting.
I don't think it's just to be spooky and just to scare you. I think there's always
Mm.
the moral of the story um,
Oh, that's
aspect.
interesting. I haven't really thought of scary story in that sense. Because I remember so okay, so the place I grew up in France, because it's such a deep countryside, there's like big folklore. And I think because it's like I grew up, I mean, I grew up on a farm, so it was really like the deep, deep countryside. We had a lot of stories, and I had two friends in high school, and that's gonna sound insane, but that was true. In the small town they were living in, if you had a cat, your cat will either disappear or come back with a cut on their ears. Because some people were still practicing witchcraft and needed like cat blood, which is insane. Why to me? But they were like, yeah, don't have a cat in our small town, which
Okay,
is wild. So yeah, so I'm not saying it works. I'm saying some people were still having this kind of like all-time practice.
I know, but
Um,
it has nothing to do with a black cat
oh, maybe it was specifically black cat. Yeah.
because that's a
Um,
superstition.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that was insane. And I remember in middle school, I had one of my friend. One day he was coming home with his parents, and there was like someone put like a dead bird on their front door as kind of like a ritual or something. I mean, that was also yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it was very present in the culture. And so I think when we were teenagers, we would like tell each other sometimes, scary story. There's one that was widely popular when I was a teenager, and it's the story of the lady in white. So basically, the story that this young lady was wearing a white dress, and she was, how do you say, hitchhiking? Hitchhiking, right? When you go to the side of the road, yeah. And so a stranger stopped their car, and she got in. And what happened was that they actually had a car accident, and she died. And so the story that she come to haunt some side of the roads,
Yeah.
and people say that she appeared at multiple places at the same time in France. So I remember seeing like a documentary about it when I was a teenager. And basically, I think the story is that if you drive at night and you see her on the side of the road, the lady in white, you have two options. You can either like stop your car and pick her up, and she will ride with you in your car. And at the next turn, she will scream and disappear. So that's pretty
Yeah.
frightening. Or you can ignore her, but then you get into a car crash at the next turn. Which now I realize there's probably a moral to the story, like you were saying, like maybe the whole thing was like don't hitchhike when you're a teenager, maybe. But I remember with with one of my sisters, we were actually driving one day at night. I think we were coming from a party, maybe I forgot where we were, but we actually drove at night on the road she was supposed to appear. And we were actually so scared that we were like, oh my God, what if we see her? What should we do? and, and we didn't end up seeing her, so we were fine. But that's
Did
the
you
kind of story, yeah.
did you ever see anything that was close to a spirit or that you couldn't explain?
I mean, okay, like we, so in the farm I grew up in, I remember like one night at the breakfast, we had like a family meeting because some weird stuff happened in the house where I grew up. But it was mostly like fun things, like shoes will be displaced. Like, for example, like my sister's shoes will end up in my other sister's shoes. Or like my mom always had like a bottle of water next to the iron board, right? And that ended up onto a different room as well. And one of my sister had like water on her notes from class. And I remember that morning we were all like accusing my dad because my dad is a jokester, so we love to make jokes. And we were like, "What did you do last night? That's not funny." Like, and my sister was like upset. She was like, "That's my class notes. There's water on it. That's not funny." Like, and I was like, "No, I didn't do anything." So our conclusion was that my little sister is a sleepwalker and was doing jokes at night. But we never really went to the bottom of it. But what happened years and years and years later, after we left that house, the new owner did some construction work, and they actually realized that they were, like France used to be part of the Roman Empire back in the day.
Yeah.
And so where I grew up, there's actually a lot of like Roman, like ruins that they would find when they try to, do some excavation to do like some new buildings and everything.
Yeah.
They would find stuff. And so they actually found some like ruins. And so basically they think that the farm we grew up in was actually right next to our house. There was like a Roman cemetery, like a
Mm,
mausoleum kind of thing.
yeah.
So then we were thinking, was there some like old spirit making jokes at us? That seems that seems like a stretch, but who knows?
Well, it's a there's a TV program, I think, Ghost Finders, and
Oh
there's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of things going on about that. So let's bring us up to present day. So you've been here for 10 years, right?
Yes, yeah.
So how have you been celebrating Halloween in America?
So now I do celebrate, especially since I'm living in LA. I'm in West Hollywood specifically, and Halloween is a big block party.
Yeah.
It's
Gay,
actually
gay
insane.
community?
What's that, sorry?
The gay community.
Oh,
Is
no,
that what you
everyone. Like Halloween is
Oh,
actually for everyone. Yes, it's like
oh,
they basically like shut down the street. They shut down like Santa Monica Boulevard, like a huge stretch of it, and like a lot of people from different communities will actually come to celebrate. It can get pretty intense because there's so many people, and especially when I moved here, it was the first time they were doing it again after COVID, because they closed it for a few years, and so I think everyone wanted to rejoice and partying. Um, but yeah, so I will usually like to celebrate with friends. I told you last year I was going as a French person, but like an American person would do it for Halloween.
Yeah.
Um, and what did I do the year before? I can't even remember what I did.
So every year you'll dress up dress up in something, a costume.
Yes, yes. And when I'm planning this year, actually, I'm going the easy route, but I want it to be. I don't know if you've seen, like, I know we don't talk about like news event in this podcast, but my costume is actually tied to that because there's been like demonstration in Portland, and people will wear like inflatable animal costume just to celebrate and show that Portland is a safe city,
Yes.
despite what some people say.
Yes.
And so I actually wanted to do an homage to them and join them. So yeah, I'm gonna order a decided inflatable animal costume. Yeah, and I've also always wanted to do it. So I'm like,
You mean
this year is the year.
like those real big ones?
Yes, yes, that's what I want. I need to still buy it. I really want that. Yeah, what about you? Do you celebrate Halloween?
That's going to be interesting trying to walk in those things
I
because
know, I can't wait.
when I've seen them in parades or on the streets or something, it's almost like they fall over. They can't really see very well.
Yeah, and but you know what? One of my friends for Halloween, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, went as Catwoman for Halloween, and he bought this. He never walked in heels in his life, and bought this huge heels to go with his costume, and couldn't walk for the whole thing. I was supposed to meet with him, and we know we shared the location. I wasn't able to meet him because he just gave up at some point. He couldn't walk in those heels, so I don't think my experience is going to be worse than my friend's experience. I feel like I should be able to walk around, but maybe it's going to be tough. I also feel like it's going to give me a protection, kind of like give me my personal space.
Well,
So I kind of like want that.
might
Yeah.
have to, you might have to wear it for the next podcast so we can look at it,
Oh my God.
or at least take a picture of it anyway.
I'll definitely take a picture of it. So what about you? Do you celebrate Halloween?
We get invited to parties every year,
Okay.
and it's always costumes. So yeah, we go, and it's fun. Like I said, it's not my favorite holiday to go to, but
Yeah.
when you were living in San Francisco, did you ever go to the Castro
Um,
Halloween?
damn, I don't even think I did that actually. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
sure.
The Castro was like the place to go on Halloween. And what happened at 2006 is the mob got so bad, um, that people were getting trampled. But anyway, let me tell you my story, because and this is my cultural distress moment as a woman, as a small woman.
Mhm.
A friend and I went to the Castro, and we were there, and there was a big crowd. Nothing, nothing that bad. But then what happens is they put on performances in the balconies as you're walking
Mhm.
along. People would come out in the balconies and put on this extravagant show, and so you would stop to watch the show. So we stopped to watch this great performance, and without realizing it, the crowd began to grow and grow and grow and grow. And so by the time the show was over, we were locked in to this mob. It was so
Mhm.
scary because I'm short and I'm
Yeah.
a woman. So I was overcome by all these tall people around me. It was you couldn't breathe and you couldn't move. And the only time we moved is when the crowd began to move. And
Mm.
this is where I can see if you fell down, you would be trampled.
Yeah.
You would have no way to. Anyways, luckily I was with a taller friend, and she used her elbows, and she kept going like this. And anyways, finally the crowd started to dissipate. But that's my culturally distressed moment of being a woman, a small woman.
Damn, that must have been scary. So my culturally distress moment is I met a fellow Frenchman, and so when that happened, anytime I'm in a group and I meet someone from France, we start chatting, lovely conversation.
Yeah.
There's two of us and there's an American person, and then at some point, the other French person asks the American person, "Oh, do my accent sounds like Loic, but with a hint of worry in their voice?" And I know I'm talking a lot about my accent in this segment, but it was just very funny. And he's very lovely, and I don't think he meant it in a bad way, but I could feel the slight concern in his voice when he asked that question, just because I have a stronger French accent than he does. And I think it's very interesting because it's actually always really hard to, you know how we sound like.
Hmm.
It's true, right? It's difficult to know. So I think when other people, and actually to be fair, I do the same. I do the same because, and believe it or not, some people have a way worse accent than I do. And when that
Oh,
happens, I'm
really?
also, yeah, hey, yeah. And when that happens, I'm like, do I sound like that? So it's always funny because
Okay,
I feel
now,
like we always try because we all want to have a slight French accent,
yeah,
but it sounds
yeah.
sexy to everyone's ears.
You want to keep your French accent.
Yeah,
Now, the reason why his French accent wasn't as strong, is it because of his education, or he's been in this country longer, or what?
could be. I've actually been in the US longer than he does. I think there's a lot of things that go into that. And it's actually funny because we had a conversation about accent, and he actually worked with a coach that told him that the French accent is the most difficult to lose. Basically, it's very, very hard. So even people who train for years and years and years, like expert, will always kind of like you know hear it.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, I'm also like I grew up in the countryside. He's from Paris, so maybe that's also why we have a difference
Yeah.
in our accent. But he's a really lovely guy, and he did not mean it in a mean way. It was just a funny moment for me when I see someone just like when I see a fellow French person being like slightly scared that they sound like me. It's
Oh my
very,
God, do I sound?
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. It's one of those humbling moments. But I would say though that never mind, because American people are really into my accent. I don't know if I told you that story, but one day I was in a bar and that guy told me, he was like, wow, I saw you walk and I was like, he's a 10. And then I heard you speak and I was like, he's a 20. And then I was confused because I couldn't understand which scale he was using. But I would say in general, like, even I remember like when I was, on the dating apps, I had so many comments of guys reaching out and being like, "Oh my God, I love your accent." Because on Hinge, you can put like a video prompt or like an audio prompt. So basically, on your profile, you have a few questions. You can choose a question, and you can choose to actually record your answer. So I did that, and so yeah, people were commenting on my accent.
Yeah. I think the French accent is sexy and beautiful.
Thank you.
But
Please, I'm partnered, Miyoko. Stop it. You're a married woman.
oh, but I know that I know French people who have lost their accent, but that must have entailed incredible amount of
Yeah.
diction, uh,
Yes.
and
Yeah, I think you can probably do it, but like it's not as easy as like, someone growing like for example, like a British person faking an American accent. It's gonna be like
yeah,
a much like, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a shorter bridge than trying to hide like a French accent. And yeah, to your point, I think if I were to spend an hour a day for the next 10 years, maybe I
yeah.
can lose my accent. But honestly, do I want to use my time this way? I'm
But for,
busy.
and for what? Why do you need to lose your accent? Except I know, and when we did our film together, I think it was important for everybody to understand what you were saying.
So I worked with a vocal coach because that's
Yeah,
the thing. Yeah, I actually really want to make sure that people understand me. So when I have a role, usually like I would work with the coach to make sure that at least, you know, the text I have, I can do it right. But what's speaking of that, I actually have a funny story. Because the movie we did with Miyoko is, you know, very heartwarming and cute. There's a few moments with a strong language, not very long. No, okay, not strong language. But okay, I
When was that?
we
And
said
the
dildo.
title of the
We
movie is called Distressed, by the way.
yeah, we say dildo in the movie a few
Oh, yeah,
times. Yeah,
dildo.
and I remember it was actually like one of the word that was hard for me to say, because like of the L in the middle of the word was kind of like not clear because of my accent. And so I remember this moment that was so funny to me when my vocal coach, we were working specifically on dildo. So we were just like dildo, dildo, dildo. And I'm like, this is just a surreal moment. I'm having this vocal coach teaching me how to say dildo.
No. Oh, that was cute, though.
Yeah.
I did notice it. Anyway, look at the time. It's time for us to start wrapping up. And, I hope you all have fun with your dildo tonight. No.
Miyoko
Thank
Sakatani, what did you say?
thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And we're so happy to be here with you, the two
Yeah,
of us.
thanks. Yeah, thanks so much for listening. It's been a pleasure as usual. And remember to be kind to one another. And you never know, people around you might be culturally distressed, so be nice to them.
Yes. But before we go, do you want to mention where they can find us?
Oh my God, yes, of course. Thank you, Miko. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, but you can also find us on social media if you want to connect. We are the Culturally Distressed Pod, both on Instagram and TikTok. And we also have an email address if you want to send us some message, culturallydistressedpod@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you guys.
Sayonara, everybody,
Au revoir.
and be well.